I am so good to be here with you all on this Sunday. Let me just make sure that my volume is okay over there on YouTube. Hello, you guys. I am feeling so amazing. Um, and we're going to be talking about overgiving and self abandonment. Ooh, I don't even stop people pleasing. Let's just go with that. What's up, you guys? As you all drop me a comment, and let's see. We're gonna go live on all the platforms. Hi, you guys over there on YouTube. Hello, you all over on TikTok. We're super excited. I'm so excited to have you guys here today. Keysha LaShawn here. Let me just make sure the YouTubes are coming through okay. And I have this song for y'all, okay? Listen, this is my favorite song, okay? What's up?
I hype me up, I gas me up, I hype me up, I gas me up, I hype me up, I gas me up.
I hype me up. Sandra, what's up?
Take up space, sis. Got my room with this. Take up space.
What is up, TikTok and YouTube? If you guys are watching me live, drop a comment. Hello. Hello. Take up space, sis. Okay. I hype me up. I gas me up. What is up, everybody? Awesome stuff. I'm super excited to be here today. We're going to talk about today how to stop people pleasing. Hello.
Push through, sis.
It is going to be about how to stop people pleasing. We are so done with that. Hello, Bridget, the HR. Welcome. Hello, everybody. We're going to be also digging into the power awareness. Okay, I told you guys. So as you all jump in, drop me a comment. Let me know where y'all are tuning in from. Okay, let me know where everybody's tuning in from. I am powerful beyond measure. The version of me others created in their mind is not my responsibility. I normalize saying no when others want too much from me. I uproot any soul ties that has held me hostage. Or paradigms of thought. Hey, take up space, sis. I want you all to take up space, okay? Take up space, y'all, okay? Take up space, y'all, okay? What is happening? We're going to get into the power of awareness. I'm committed to finishing this book, okay? I don't know if I'm going to finish the book before the end of the year. No. It's like I got quite a bit to go. But we are going to finish this book tonight, okay? And so, John, what's up? Welcome, baby girl. Welcome, Bridget. Hello. What's up, Derek Strickland? Yes, we got the hat on. Okay, listen, we're taking no space.
My truth to speak up about what
okay.
I want. I don't use
let me let my
it's noticeable.
Derek, how does my volume sound over on TikTok? I mean on YouTube, because I actually didn't
my love language
I didn't test it out or whatever. So let me know how do I sound over
even
there.
When I rest,
hey you guys, Kaya Honeycutt,
even
what's
when
up?
I'm still healing, I feel so right and enough.
I love this
and that
song.
feeling
Okay.
won't stop. Sis, my intuition said what she said. I trust her now. I show up fully being the most. I show up fully being the most.
Okay, I'm not gonna over-explain myself.
I bring what I bring.
I said what I said. Okay.
This energy, though,
I said it's kind of loud.
To this big energy essence. Nothing will stand in the way of me asking for what I want.
Okay,
this
so
is
let's
how
see
my
here.
needs are being met.
Awesome.
I won't explain why I'm so dressed up.
There.
I'm the most always.
There.
No
is that better?
Others feel or think
See, it's like different because on TikTok it's like you know, they need all the energy on TikTok. Okay.
I got my room with this.
Awesome. That's better. Okay, good. Because it is close to the it is pretty close to the computer sound, to the sound box here. All right, y'all. Awesome. Hello, Rachel Ferris, Ben's Big Game, and Amos Creations. Welcome, everybody. We're gonna be getting into digging into more of the power of awareness. I told you guys that we were going to be actually talking about that, and so I am actually, and I realize you guys, I say actually a lot. I was listening to my, I did a video and I was like, Keysha, you say actually a lot. And so I was like, I don't know. It's a filler word. But anyways, hey, it is what it is, right? So Contressa, Peter, what's up? Welcome. Tanisha, Libra Ma, welcome. Affordable Taxi, welcome. All right, so if you guys are brand new, what's up? My name is Keysha LaShawn. I'm actually on all the socials as Keysha LaShawn, helping women stop overgiving, people pleasing, and choosing themselves. That is the goal, okay? No matter what it is about. It doesn't matter whether it's about communication, whether it's about dating, self-love, money, everything. It's about you choosing yourself first and just not apologizing for it at all. Hello, Safa. Welcome. You're back again. Okay. We're going to be getting into the power of awareness today. So I figured I would just go live on my TikTok and my YouTube and let's just talk about it today because it's my commitment each Sunday because I have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and 1 million followers on TikTok. And so I just decided that this year in 2025, I just decided that I have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and I have 1 million followers on TikTok. And I just believe you just get to decide. And then I just decided, what was I going to do now that I actually have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and now that I have 1 million followers on TikTok? What do I want to do? What do I want to do? And so I started on my YouTube channel reading The Power of Awareness, and just because I was going to read it myself, and I was like, well, you know what? I just think I'll just read this book. With my 100,000 YouTube subscribers, I'll just do that as well. So here we are. Then I decided that I was going to grow my TikTok again because it had grown to about 204,000 people. And then I just thought TikTok was playing games with me. But like the law of assumption says, whatever you assume to be true, it will be true for you. So if you think that the algorithm is playing tricks with you, playing games on you or whatever, then it is, right? When I let go of that belief that there was any type of something that was playing trickery with me with my account, okay, then guess what happens? I attracted mentors, I attracted coaching, training, whatever I needed in order to support me and assist me in what I decided, okay? That's it. What's up, T? You caught me again. Yep. Okay. In my 12-week year, I've decided to live stream once a week. That's all that's required. Thank you. That's all I decided, right? And so I was like, okay. So like I said, my TikTok, I decided that I have 1 million followers on TikTok. And when I made the decision, then all the cooperative components of the universe started to go to work, right? To bring to me what was required for the fulfillment of the desire. That's all that has to happen. So all I have to do is just decide. And then once I decide, I just move like it's just already done. Period. The end. Okay? End of story. Nothing. I mean, like I said, I did a video. I was like, hey, if you want to do, some people they do like water something, like water manifesting and like all these different techniques, tactics, tricks and whatever. It's like, hey, go for it, go for it. But I'm going to tell you, I just decide, I'm just like, hey, I just make a decision. Like, this is what I am. This is who I am. This is what I have. And then I just move like that. And it's just so much easier for me to do it that way. I did it to actually lose over 35 pounds and stuff. So I released 35 pounds over the last year. I just decided at the beginning of 2025 that I was not, that I was a healthy woman. That's it. That's all I did. I just decided that I was a healthy woman. I was like, I'm a healthy person. The end. And then it was like, okay, so now that you are a healthy woman, what does a healthy woman do? What is for you, right? Because it's like some healthy women go to CrossFit and they do all kinds of stuff, right? That doesn't matter, right? what am I going to do? What would bring me joy? What would make me happy? What can I get behind? What do I want to do each day, to love my body and stuff like that? That's what I decide. Right, I just get into character. Exactly. Thank you, Safa. That's it. I just get into character. Thank you for explaining it that way. That's really beautiful. Okay, so absolutely. Yes. See, you got it. See there, girl, you already know what to do, right? So that's what has been, my experience, like especially in 2025, I decided at the beginning of 2025, I was going to get in the best shape of my life. And that was mentally, physically, spiritually, all the things. And it was so funny because I was thinking about how I made that decision, and I met someone like at the end of 2024 that I really liked, you guys. Like, I really did. It's like, I really liked him. And I was like, it's funny because I decided in 2025 to get in the best shape of my life in all the different areas. And he really showed me a lot. Like, I mean, when I tell you that man, like really helped to mirror, to show me a lot of things about me, and just, I was like, whoa. So I was really like in so much gratitude. I was like, oh, thank you for, for doing that for me. Thank you. I appreciate you. I really do. I didn't realize, that's how it would go down. But nevertheless, so that was my intentions. And 2025 has been one of the best years. It has literally been one of the best years that of my life. Yeah. So, and I'm just excited because I've already started making intentions, things I've just decided for 2026, right? I've already decided some things for 2026. You guys are here on TikTok and actually on YouTube. You're a part of the decision with who I've decided to be in 2026. Okay? I don't need any physical evidence. I don't need anybody to co-sign, validation, or anything like that. None of that's required. You just get to decide, right? So drop a comment, you guys. What have you decided? Because you can just decide right now. You don't need any prep. You don't need 5 steps. Okay, you don't need 5, 10 steps. You don't need this 5 steps to get the love of your life. You don't need that. You just need to decide, right? What's your decision for 2026? Who are you going to be in 2026? All right, send me money. Send me some money, okay? So yeah, congratulations, even better 2026 for all of us. Yes, absolutely, even better and stuff. So awesome. And let's see here. And thank you so much. All right, I'm decluttering. Okay, cool. I like this. I'm decluttering mode right now. Out with the old and not serving me, and in with the new and the fabulous. I love that. Absolutely. I do that quite often. Just go through stuff and be like, you know what? We don't need that no more. We don't need any of this stuff anymore. So awesome. And so welcome, Sandra. Okay, so let's look at the power of awareness. Let's look at some of this content here today, you guys. If you guys are jumping on, that's what we're getting ready to read. I'm getting ready to read from the power of awareness. All right. The power of awareness is what we're going to read from. I'm at chapter 10, right? Chapter 10 says, I am God, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times, things that are not yet done. Isaiah 46 and 10. So if you're jumping on, I am someone who likes to read the Bible, but not from a spiritual or like a what I like to call moral. From a moral perspective. I love it from a metaphysical. So that's just me. You don't have to co-sign that at all. Do what works for you, okay? So creation is finished. Creation is finished. Creativeness. I always say this word, creativeness. Oh my goodness. Creativeness is only a deeper receptiveness for the entire contents of all time and space, while experience in a time sequence actually let me pause that because it's like reading this, I want to make sure you guys can hear this. Creation is finished. Creativeness is only a deeper receptiveness for the entire contents of all time and all space, while experience in a time sequentially actually coexists in an infinite and eternal now. That is the longest sentence ever. I think I've read this chapter before. Okay, so it's like, man. In other words, here we go. All that mankind ever was or ever will be exists right now. I had mentioned in a video, and it's funny because I didn't know that this was like a big quote and stuff that was out there, but the reason why you want it is because there is a version of you that already has it. There's a version of you who that already has what you actually desire. So that is that version of you, that is that timeline really calling you to that. Okay. So it says, in other words, all that you ever have been or ever will be. In fact, all that mankind ever was or ever will be exists now. That is what is meant by creation. And the statement that creation is finished means that nothing is ever to be created. It is only to be manifested. You are always manifesting. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You're always manifesting. All desires are gifts from you to you. Yes, you're always manifesting. You can't not manifest. Like it's like part of just your whole being, right? Creating. What is called creativeness. Oh my God. Is only becoming aware of what already is. That's it again. What is called creativeness or creativity. Let's say creativity, because I was like, it's only becoming aware of what already is. You simply become aware of increasing portions of that which already exists. You're just becoming aware of it, but it already exists. Okay? The fact that you can never be anything that you are not already or experience anything not already existing explains the experience of having an acute feeling of having heard before what is being said, or having met before the person being met for the first time, or having seen before a place or thing being seen for the first time. Thank you guys for the daily heart to me. Thank you, T. Right? So it's almost like when you say I had deja vu, it's like deja vu, like a deja vu experience and stuff. It's like, maybe that was actually true. Maybe it actually had happened, you know? The whole of creation exists in you, and it is your destiny to become increasingly aware of its infinite wonders and to experience ever greater and grander portions of it. If creation is finished, and all events are taking place now, the question that springs naturally to the mind is, what determines your time track? What determines the timeline that you're on? That is, what determines the events which you encounter? And the answer is your concept of yourself. It's how you see you. It goes back to that. Concepts determine the route that attention follows. Here's a good test to prove this fact. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the route that your attention follows. You will observe that as long as you remain faithful to your assumption, so long will your attention be confronted with images clearly related to that assumption. For example, if you assume that you have a wonderful business, you will notice how in your imagination, your attention is focused on incident after incident relating to that assumption. What's up, you guys over on YouTube? He said this is it's very interesting. Okay. I'm like completely like, yeah, I love to read about it. Okay. So for example, you assume that you have a wonderful business, or you can put anything here, right? So it's like, if you assume, for example, if you assume that you have a wonderful relationship, you will notice how in your imagination, your attention is focused on incident after incident relating to that assumption. Then we were talking about yesterday, someone was saying like communication, like having communication issues, so with their partner. So it's like, well, if you assume that that's what you have, then that's what you're going to see. And, you know, that's what's going to manifest, right? So if you assume that you have a wonderful business, you will notice how in your imagination, your attention is focused on incident after incident relating to that assumption. You guys, we have, you know, and I like science. Okay. So listen, my mom was a science teacher. I like science. And so I'm not a person that you can just be like, oh yeah, well, this is how it is. No, I want to know why. And really, there is body work that is part of this as well. Like, because your reticular activating system, which is part of your brain, I'm studying neuroscience, right? is that your reticular activating system, you tell it what you want to see more of. So that's what assumption. That's what you assume. That's why you see it, because it's all working together. It's not just spirit. It happens in their body too. So you see, if you buy a red car, you will program your reticular activating system, or you buy a certain type of car, you'll notice when this happens. When you buy a certain type of car, you start to see that car on the road. You didn't pay attention to that car before. If you paid attention to everything, you would go crazy. But your brain is so powerful that it knows, or it can be programmed to just to focus on what you tell it to focus on. So it's not just, and I just say Neville Goddard, he didn't, I don't know, maybe he did, maybe there's books that he goes into science and he talks about how really your body and all this stuff works together. It is not this, it's like it works together. It's all the same, right? It is assumption. It absolutely is. But it's also your brain, your reticular activating system, your amygdala, your hippocampus, all this stuff, your fight or flight, freeze, all that's going together, and it's all causing what you're seeing. It's the life that you're seeing right now. It's all that. All right. So if you assume that you have a wonderful business, you'll notice how in your imagination, your attention is focused on incident after incident related to that assumption. Friends congratulate you, tell you how lucky you are. Others are envious and critical. From there, your attention goes to larger offices, bigger bank balances, and many other similarly related events. Persistence in this assumption will result in actually experiencing, in fact, that which you assumed. Persistence in that assumption, right? So whatever the assumption is, right, will result in actually experiencing, in fact, that which you assume. The reason why he talked about the state akin to sleep and actually imagining at that particular time is because your body, when you get ready to go to sleep, it is actually in a relaxed state. And so you can install a new command when you are there. So that's what the state akin to sleep was. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, he actually teaches more about that science behind why that matters. When you wake up in the morning, you're in a certain state, right? Where now, that's why he talks about meditation when you first wake up and not grabbing your phone. He talks about don't grab your phone as soon as you wake up, because right there, you're in a state, you're in the state akin to sleep right there too. And so now you can meditate and visualize and stuff like that. So that's why they talk about these different things. And I can appreciate the science behind it. Okay, so persistence in that assumption will result in actually experiencing, in fact, that which you assume. The same is true regarding any concept. If your concept of yourself is that you are a failure, you will encounter in your imagination a whole series of incidents in conformance to that concept. I'm going to say it again. If you, okay, it's like this, any concept. And so if your concept of yourself, and so I like to think about words not being too big where we don't understand them, right? So if how you see yourself, sometimes I like to say, how do we say this? How do you see yourself, right? Is if you see yourself as a failure, if you see yourself as a winner, if you see yourself as loved, if you see yourself as cherished, if you see yourself as not likable, right? How you see yourself, that's how others will perceive you as well. Okay. So if your concept of yourself is that you are a failure, you would encounter in your imagination a whole series of incidents in conformance to that concept. That is clearly seen it is clearly seen how you, by your concept of yourself, determine your present, that is the particular proportion of creation which you now experience, and your future, that is the particular portion of creation which you will experience. Okay. So one of my actual things I like to say to myself is I'm cherished, I'm adored, I'm loved. And so it's interesting. Yesterday, I went to an event with a girlfriend and there was a lady there. And so she comes up to me and she says, You are so adorable. And I was like, well, that's what I say to myself. I am adorable. I am adored, right? So it makes sense. Like, so that's when I say, so it's like I'm projecting out and they're seeing how I see me, right? They're seeing how I see myself. And so your concept of yourself is all that really matters. How do you see you? How do you perceive yourself? What do you see when you look in the mirror? Okay. So chapter 11 is interference. You are free to choose the concept you will accept of yourself. You are free to choose. Let me see. You are free to choose the concept you will accept of yourself. Therefore, you possess the power of intervention, the power which enables you to alter the course of your future. The process arising from your present concept to a higher concept of yourself is the means of all true progress. The higher concept is waiting for you to incarnate it in the world of experience. The higher is waiting for you. Okay, the higher concept is waiting for you to incarnate it in the world of experience. If you guys are just not jumping on, we're reading The Power of Awareness, all right? We are reading The Power of Awareness. It is by Neville Goddard, all right? So Neville captured the sheer logic of creative mind principles as perhaps no other figure of his era. So he was into the science of mind, and so, yes. And so that's what we're actually reading on today, all right? So we're on chapter 11, interference. You are free to choose the concept you will accept of yourself. Therefore, you possess the power of intervention, the power which enables you to alter the course of your future. The process arising from your present concept to a higher concept of yourself is the means of all true progress. The higher concept is waiting for you to incarnate it in the world of experience. Now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us, unto him be glory. Ephesians 3:20. Him that is able to do more than you can ask or think is your imagination. And the power that worketh in us is your attention. Understanding imagination to be him that is able to do all that you ask, and attention to be the power by which you create your world, you can now build your ideal world. You can now build your ideal world. All right. Imagine yourself to be the ideal you dream of and desire. Imagine yourself to be the ideal you dream of and desire. This is what people talk about, like vision boards and doing things like that, right? It's like you can, and I'm not against them. I mean, totally, right? Do whatever works for you in this life. I think people ought to do what works for them. So, if you want to go to Pinterest and do Pinterest boards and all the things, hey, please go and do that. Get images of it. See yourself. I love AI because now you can just use AI, quite honestly. You can just create a vision board. You can create images of yourself doing all sorts of things. You want to travel the world, then do an AI image of you in Mexico or Caribbean or the UK, England. You know what I'm saying? Like wherever you want to go, whatever you want to do, right? You want to own a yacht, then create a picture of yourself and you own this yacht. Put your name on the side of the yacht. All the things, right? So now using your imagination, the power of your imagination, using that, okay, to create your own world. So you can imagine yourself to be the ideal you dream of and desire. Imagine yourself to be the ideal you dream of and desire. Imagine yourself being the ideal, okay, you dream of and desire. Remain attentive to this imagined state, and as fast as you remain attentive to this imagined state, and as fast as you completely feel that you are already this ideal, it will manifest itself as reality in your world. What's up, Andrea Jenkins? What's up, y'all? Okay. Yellow Man, hey, what's up? Welcome. So remain attentive. Right. So don't waver. Don't waver. Like Neville Goddard would say, deny the evidence of your senses. Deny the evidence of your senses. Deny the evidence of your senses. So your sight, touching, smelling, all the things, right? And your what they call 3D, in your 3D. You may not see it physically. Don't waver. So remain attentive to this imagined state, and as fast as you completely feel that you are already this ideal, it will manifest itself as reality in your world. Okay? I just decided, you guys, I just decided to have 100,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I just decided to have 1 million followers on TikTok. And I want to say between December 10th and today, I want to say I've probably gotten over 5,000 TikTok followers. One video went viral. One video went viral. Okay? I just decided, okay, that I have 1 million TikTok followers. And not just because I just want 1 million TikTok followers, but because, you know what? And if I just wanted it for that reason, that's good enough. If it's just because that's what I want, that's fine. Because we always try to figure out a reason why. Let me get some kind of, noble reason why I want to have 1 million TikTok followers. You don't need a noble reason. Your desire is the noble reason. You want 100,000 followers on your YouTube channel? Then hey, that's what you want just because you want it, and that's plenty enough. That's all the reason. Nobody has we always want to have some type of, like I said, noble reason why we have to, but that's a justification of worthiness. That's a justification of worthiness because we have taught that you have to earn things. So you can't just want to have 1 million TikTok followers or 100,000 YouTube subscribers just because. There has to be some reason why and some noble reason. What are you going to give? What are you going to do in exchange for what? I just want it. How about that? I just want it. No other reason. Same reason why I want $1 million. I just want it. Because I just want it, right? Okay. It's just a good desire to have. And I think that money in the hands of good people, you do good things. Period. I have a lot of things I could do with $1 million, right? But I just want it, because I do. Why not? I want 1 million. I want 1 million TikTok followers. Why? I just want it. Because I want it. Okay? I don't need to have, what I'm saying? I don't need to have all that. That's rooted in unworthiness, okay? We create our environment with our thoughts and then our actions. So if you constantly say you can't, you can't. If you say you can't, you can't. Absolutely. Whatever you say, that's what it is, okay? So remain attentive to this imagined state. And as fast as you completely feel that you are already this ideal, it will manifest itself in reality in your world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. The mystery hid from the ages, Christ in you, the hope of glory. The he in the first of these quotations is your imagination. As previously explained, there's only one substance. There's only one substance. This substance is consciousness. It is your imagination which forms this substance into concepts, which concepts are then manifested as conditions, circumstances, and physical objects. I'll say this again. It is your imagination which forms this substance into concepts, which concepts are then manifested as conditions, circumstances, and physical objects. Thus, imagination made your world. Imagination made your world. This supreme truth, with but few exceptions, man is not conscious of. The mystery, Christ in you, referred to in the second quotation, is your imagination by which your world is molded. The hope of glory is your awareness of the ability to rise perpetually to higher levels. I love that so much. I'm going to say it again. The hope of glory is your awareness of the ability to rise perpetually to higher levels. When you become aware, you're like, oh my God, wait, I can do more. Oh my gosh, right? I can be more. Actually, I like to say that I can be more. I can just be more, right? Christ is not to be found in history, nor in external forms. You find Christ only when you become aware of the fact that your imagination is the only redemptive power. When this is discovered, the towers of dogma will have heard the trumpets of truth, and like the walls of Jericho, crumble to dust. Yes, indeed. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Subjective control. Your imagination is able to do all that you ask in proportion to the degree of your attention. Your imagination is able to do all that you ask in proportion to the degree of your attention. All progress, all fulfillment of desire depends upon the control and concentration of your attention. Attention may be either attracted from without or directed from within. Attention is attracted from without when you are consciously occupied with the external impressions of the immediate present. The very lines of this page are attracting your attention from without. Your attention is directed from within when you deliberately choose what you will be preoccupied with mentally. I'm going to say that again. This is so important because we are living in an age right now where everything is fighting for your attention. It's what it is, okay? Right? I mean, all of us that are creators on TikTok is what we're doing too, right? I'm just hoping that my what I'm doing is helping you become more aware of who you are. That's what I want to make sure. Your attention is directed from within when you deliberately choose what you will be preoccupied with mentally. Your attention is directed from within when you deliberately choose what you will be preoccupied with mentally. It is obvious that in the objective world, your attention is not only attracted by, but is constantly directed to external impressions. But your control in the subjective state is almost non-existent. For in this state, attention is usually the servant and not the master, the passenger and not the navigator of your world. There is an enormous difference between attention directed objectively and attention directed subjectively, and the capacity to change your future depends on the latter. I'm gonna read it again. There is an enormous difference between attention directed objectively and attention directed subjectively. And the capacity to change your future depends on the latter. When you are able to control the movements of your attention in the subjective world, you can modify or alter your life as you please. But this control cannot be achieved if you allow your attention to be attracted constantly from without. That's why I don't watch the news. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch stuff that goes on. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. Right? You're like, oh my God, did you see it? I didn't see it. I did not. I didn't. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what y'all president is doing. I don't know. What is he doing? I don't even know. I don't even concern myself with that. And hey, people can say, Keysha, you're delusional. You got your head in the sand. Whatever. What am I going to do? Why am I going to put my attention, my focus, all my good attention on what somebody else is doing? And it's something that I have I'm not worried about that. It's not. Okay. So when you're able to control the movements of your attention in the subjective world, you can modify or alter your life as you please. But this control cannot be achieved if you allow your attention to be attracted constantly from without. Each day, set yourself the task of deliberately withdrawing your attention from the objective world and focusing it subjectively. In other words, concentrate on those thoughts or moods which you deliberately determine. This sounds like meditation to me. This sounds like Wise Dispenza talks about breaking the habit of being yourself. Getting up, breaking yourself out of the habit of grabbing your phone first thing in the morning to find out who did what on Facebook, who did what on this platform, on the news, all these different places, before you're even able to, to impress upon yourself what you desire. We immediately grabbing our phones and everything like that, and we're getting impressions from external. And this is what I believe that this is talking about. So when you're able to control the movements of your attention in the subjective world, you can modify or alter your life as you please. But this control cannot be achieved if you allow your attention to be attracted constantly from without. Each day, set yourself the task of deliberately withdrawing from without. Each day set yourself the task of deliberately withdrawing your attention from the objective world and of focusing it subjectively. In other words, concentrate on those thoughts or moods which you deliberately determine. Then those things that now restrict you will fade and drop away. The day you achieve control of the movements of your attention in the subjective world, you are master of your fate. You will no longer accept the dominance of outside conditions or circumstances. You will not accept life on the basis of the world without. Having achieved control of the movements of your attention and having discovered the mystery hid from the ages, that Christ in you is your imagination, you will assert the supremacy of imagination and put all things in subjection to it. We are, if you guys are just jumping on, what's up? Keysha LaShawn here. We are reading from The Power of Awareness. A lot of the things that I teach is around this actual teaching. The law of assumption. I am a student of the law of assumption. I'm not a master and I'm not an expert and I don't need to be. Okay. So I simply use it in my life and stuff. And so it is actually life changing. I've been reading this on my YouTube channel for a couple months now. We've been reading this and discussing this. And so I decided I wanted 1 million followers on TikTok. And so I decided I'm going to, hey, read it on TikTok as well. So if you're just not jumping on, welcome. If you haven't done so, be sure to go click on the link and follow me. Click and follow, right? If you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. And if you haven't gotten your self-love reset, then you want to click the link in my bio and grab the self-love reset. All right. So that's for women who is tired of overgiving, people pleasing, and you want to come back to yourself. Okay. So that will help you right there. So that's the self-love reset. Okay. We're going to do one more chapter before we jump off today, because I feel like I've already read the chapters that I've actually read. So we're going to just read one that's actually going to be brand new. All right. So if you're on TikTok, be sure to just tap the screen. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're following me. And definitely, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, then put them in the actual comments. One of the things I don't do is I'm not here to convince you, proselytize you or whatever. I think that's the word. Convince you that what I'm doing is actually the way you should do and what you should do. Absolutely not. I don't have that kind of belief system. I believe that you should do whatever works for you. Figure that out and do that. That's going to be the best. Okay. If you have any questions about what I'm doing, I'm definitely open to questions or whatever. But I'm not here to be convinced, either way, right? I'm not here to convince you and I'm not here to be convinced. So just know that. And so, yeah. All right. Let's go to chapter 13, acceptance. Man's perceptions are not bounded by organs of perception. He perceives more than sense, though ever so acute can discover. However, much you seem to be living in a material world, you're actually living in a world of imagination. Whew, y'all. Okay. Much you seem to be living in a material world, you are actually living in a world of imagination. The outer physical events of life are the fruit of forgotten blossom times, results of previous and usually forgotten states of consciousness. They are the ends running true to oftentimes forgotten imaginative origins. Whenever you become completely absorbed in an emotional state, you are at that moment assuming the feeling of the state fulfilled. If persistent in whatsoever you are intensely emotional about, you will experience in your world. Those periods of absorption of concentrated attention are the beginnings of the things you harvest. It is in such moments that you are exercising your creative power, the only creative power that there is. At the end of these periods are moments of absorption. You speed from these imaginative states where you have not been physically to where you were physically an instant ago. In these periods, the imagined state is so real that when you return to the objective world and find that it is not the same as the imagined state, it's an actual shock. You have seen something in imagination with such vividness that you now wonder whether the evidence of your senses can now be believed. And like Keats, you ask, was it a vision or a waking dream? Fled is that music. Do I wake or sleep? This shock reverses your time sense. By this, it is meant that instead of your experience resulting from your past, it now becomes the result of being in imagination where you have not yet been physically. Whew, he wrote some stuff, okay? In effect, this moves you across a bridge of incident to the physical realization of your imagined state. The man who at will can assume whatever state he pleases has found the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Oh my God. Okay. I'm like, Neville, we got to break this down, okay? And I'm reading this live. So this is the first time I'm ever reading it. So you guys are here. I'm reading it live with you guys, okay? So, and you're just not jumping on. I'm reading from The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, okay? And so let's see here if he breaks this down, because I do know about the bridge of incidents, but let's go. The keys are desire, imagination, and a steadily focused attention on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. To such a man, any undesirable objective fact is no longer a reality, and the ardent wish no longer a dream. Prove me now herewith, said the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. That's Malachi 3:10. They used to use that in church, you guys. Did you guys hear that scripture in church? And they always be talking about tithing. And so that's interesting. The windows of heaven may not be open and the treasures seized by a strong will, but the windows of heaven may not be open and the treasures seized by a strong will, but they open of themselves and present their treasures as a free gift, a gift that comes when absorption reaches such a degree that it results in a feeling of complete acceptance. The passage from your present state to the feeling of your wish fulfilled is not across a gap. There is continuity between the so-called real and unreal. To cross from one state to the other, you simply extend your feelers, trust your touch, and enter fully into the spirit of what you are doing. Not by might, nor by power, but my spirit, said the Lord of hosts. Assume the spirit, the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and you will have opened the windows to receive the blessing. To assume a state is to get into the spirit of it. Your triumphs will be a surprise only to those who did not know your hidden passage from the state of longing to the assumption of the wish fulfilled. The Lord of hosts will not respond to your wish until you have assumed the feeling of already being what you want to be. For acceptance is a channel of his action. Acceptance is the Lord of hosts in action. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. Okay. The Lord of hosts will not respond to your wish until you have assumed the feeling of already being what you want to be. For acceptance is the channel of his action. Acceptance is the Lord of hosts in action. Like I said, you guys, I just think that you just decide what you want. Right? Decide what you want. And this is what I would suggest for you all going into 2026, because I'm not sure if I'll be doing a live stream before 2026. But as you go into 2026, it is to assume, right? What is it that you want what is that you want? Decide what you want. Assume that it's already done. Assume that it's complete. Live in the wish fulfilled. I tell you guys about me and my weight loss journey. I just decided that I was a healthy woman. And then I started to live in the wish fulfilled, right? The one thing I decided to do to live in the wish fulfilled is to walk 10,000 steps a day. That's all I decided. As that's the only activity that I decided. And I just decided that's what I'm going to do. Nobody told me, oh, you have to do this or you have to do that. You have to change your diet. You have to do this. None of that. Okay. Did I change my diet? Yes, but I changed it because that's what I wanted to do. I decided I was going to change my diet. Everything comes from my decision. But I decided that's who I was before the results actually showed up. Before any physical results showed up, I just decided that's who I was and just persisted in that. What micro action can you take to just solidify that that's who you are? That's what I do. That's why I feel like, your body, nervous system regulation and stuff like that. I feel like that's what I did to just show it was my act of faith. It was a faith act. It was like, okay, now that I'm a woman that is healthy, what am I actually doing? What's this woman do? How does she show up in the world? And I was like, oh, okay. She walks 10,000 steps a day. And that's what I just started to walk 10,000 steps a day. And that was it. And then as I was on my journey on the path, right, the cooperative components of the universe started to bring other things, right? Then I found a gym that I really, really liked. Before that, I wasn't even going to a gym, okay? I wasn't going to no gym. I hadn't been to the gym in I don't know how long. I mean, like literally, I don't know how long I've been to the gym. But I ended up finding a gym, right, that I really, really liked. And I was like, ooh, I really like this type of working out. I don't like going to the gym and just having all this equipment and you got to figure out what to do each day. And I was like, oh my gosh, right? That's not what I want to do. And so I found a workout plan that I really like. Okay, that I could get behind. So that's what I suggest. Okay, so we stopped on chapter 14. So next time we come, we'll have to start back on chapter 14. So that's what I actually did, you guys. So if you haven't already done so, be sure to go into the actual description. If you watch me on YouTube, whether you watch me on TikTok, and grab the self-love reset. If you want to see this in video in its entirety, then definitely go over to my YouTube channel, because it is going to be linked over there on my YouTube channel. We'll have it over there. It's going to be, what we read tonight. But yeah, I want to say to you guys, welcome all y'all that are brand new to me. What's up? Welcome. I'm super excited to have you all in my actual world. And yeah, let's just see here. Let's just take up space before we get out of here. And so what do you guys plan for? Got planned